chewing today is from my recent Japanese snack box haul. This was like energy drink flavored gum. It's really good. Not sponsored. I really like it. It came with 3 pieces and this is the last one. This was the package. Okay. So by the way, if you are not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And please leave it a like if you don't mind. Thank you. Alright, here we go. If you have 3 quarters, 4 dimes, and 4 pennies, you have $1.19. You also have the largest amount of money in coins without being able to make change for $1. That is truly random. Truly random. Okay. The numbers 172 can be found on the back of the US $5 bill in the bushes at the base of the Lincoln Memorial. I wonder what it means though. Like, why is it there? I gotta check that out. President Kennedy was the fastest random speaker in the world with upwards of 350 words per minute. I never heard that, but what does it mean, random speaker? He was the fastest random speaker. What? They just mean that when they recorded his speeches and they timed him and counted the words, he had the most words per minute? Or was it like a specific task? Like, speak a bunch of random words and we're gonna time you? Like, what? Seriously? So many questions. Odontophobia is the fear of teeth. That would not be good. Being afraid of teeth. I mean, you probably wouldn't So let's say they sleep 18 hours, they have another 6 hours left to play and eat. That's enough, right? And sleeping is very enjoyable, so it's not a bad life. The most common name in the world is Mohammed. But I wonder what the most common female name is. It is believed that Shakespeare was 46 around the time that the King James Version of the Bible was written. In Psalms 46, the 46th word from the first word is shake, and the 46th word from the last word is spear. Wait a minute. So, the writer of the King James Bible had to have done that on purpose, I assume. Okay, that's truly, truly weird and random. Karaoke means empty orchestra in Japanese. That makes sense. There's no orchestra, it's just you singing along with like a video. The Eisenhower Interstate System, which I've never heard of, requires that 1 mile in every 5 must be straight. Why though? Why? These straight sections are usable as airstrips in times of war or other emergencies. Okay, that's why. The first known contraceptive was crocodile dung, used by Egyptians in 2000 BC. Did it work? That's the first question. And the second question is, how did they use it? church. Spades represented the military. Clubs represented agriculture. And diamonds represented the merchant class. That is a good piece of trivia. Like, I want to try to remember that. I think that's good to know. The names of the two stone lions in front of the New York Public Library are Patience and Fortitude. They were named by then Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia. There was also an airport named after him, and a college. Maybe other things too. I'm just adding that, it doesn't say that here. The main library at Indiana University sinks over an inch every year because when it was built, engineers failed to take into account the weight of all the books that would occupy the building. That sounds like a bad situation. They better not get any more books. Or they better start getting rid of some books before they get new ones, or the whole thing is going to sink underground. The sound of E.T. walking was made by someone squishing her hands in jelly. I'd like to see a video of that. Lucy and Linus, who were brother and sister, had another little brother named Rerun. He sometimes played left field on Charlie Brown's baseball team. I can't picture Rerun, but I feel like I've heard his name before. The pancreas produces insulin. Yes, it does. 1 in 5,000 North Atlantic lobsters are born bright blue. I've seen those every now and then. Not in a restaurant, but in like a picture or something. What color do they turn when you cook them, though, I wonder? Like, what color is the meat? There are 10 human body parts that are only 3 letters long. Eye, hip, arm, leg, ear, toe, jaw, rib, lip, gum. That's a good one to know, too. I'm gonna ask my family at dinner how many body parts they can name that are 3 letters long. That sounds like a fun activity for my family. A skunk's smell can be detected by a human a mile away. The word lithologica describes the state of not being able to remember the word you want. I can totally relate to that problem. Happens to me constantly. The King of Hearts is the only king without a mustache. Henry Ford produced the Model T only in black because the black paint available at the time was the fastest to dry. Mario of Super Mario Bros. Or do you say Mario? Is it Mario or Mario? Anyway, Mario appeared in the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong. His original name was Jumpman, but was changed to Mario to honor the Nintendo of America's landlord, Mario Segali. Good to know. The 3 best known Western names in China. Wait to hear this. Jesus Christ, Richard Nixon, and Elvis Presley. Jesus Christ is a Western name. Okay. Every year, about 98% of the atoms in your body are replaced. ever seen a cow jump? I mean, I know horses jump, but now I'm thinking, how about a giraffe? Do they jump? I guess they must. The international telephone dialing code for Antarctica is 672. 672. World Tourist Day is observed on September 27th. You know what's really weird? Tomorrow is September 27th for me, not for you. Because you're not going to see this until maybe next week. But that's weird. Women are 37% more likely to go to a psychiatrist than men are. I would say that is not because women have more mental illness than men, but rather that they are more willing to admit that they need help, I guess. The human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood 30 feet or 9 meters. Yuck. Diet Coke was only invented in 1982. Yeah. I didn't drink diet soda before 1982, so it wasn't an issue. But I do remember Tab. I didn't drink Tab either. But I had it one time. I probably told you. When I was a kid, I was at a restaurant and I ordered a Coke. And they said they didn't have any, but they had Tab. So I said, okay. And when I got it, it tasted awful. They served it to me in the can. And this is a weird thing. It had like a paper straw. It was like a white straw with like a red stripe. Paper though. And I looked at the can and I read that it said it can cause cancer in like rats or something. Or mice. I don't remember exactly what the words were, but I showed it to my mother and she was like, you don't have to drink it. And I was like, okay, I'm not. There are more than 1,700 references to germs. Germs or gems? Gems. There are more than 1,700 references to gems and precious stones in the King James translation of the Bible. Okay. When snakes are born with 2 heads, they fight each other for food. Isn't that crazy? Imagine if one of them like bites the other one's head off. Like, what am I even saying? I don't know. American car horns beep in the tone of F. Turning a clock's hands counterclockwise while setting it is not necessarily harmful. It is only damaging when the timepiece contains a chiming mechanism. Okay. There are twice as many kangaroos in Australia as there are people. The kangaroo population is estimated at about 40 million. Whoa. Police dogs are trained to react to commands in a foreign language, commonly German, but more recently Hungarian. Why? Like, if they're being trained to be American police dogs, why would they need to know German or Hungarian? That makes no sense. The Australian $5 to $100 notes are made of plastic. I did not know that. Saint Stephen is the patron saint of bricklayers. That is the second piece of information about bricks. The average person makes about $1,100 140 telephone calls each year. No way. No way. Telephone calls. In the year 2023, the average person makes that many calls. I mean, if we were talking about 1990, the number would be way higher than that, because that's all you could do, right, was make telephone calls. There were no texts, not really emails, like nothing. You would be on the phone all the time, for work, for pleasure, for everything. But nowadays, like, that's a lot. I'm trying to figure out how many per day that is. Alright, I take it back. It's possible. But that's kind of on the heavy side. Like, how many phone calls do you make per day? I'd say some days I make 0. Some days I make a few. Anyway, let's move on. Stressed is desserts spelled backwards. Yes. If you had enough water to fill 1 million goldfish bowls, you could fill an entire stadium. Mary Stuart became Queen of Scotland when she was only 6 days old. So, does that mean that her father had died by the time she was 6 days old? Because there was no king, so she had to become the queen. Is that what that is? Charlie Brown's father was a barber. I had no idea. I want to know when we learned that. Flying from London to New York by Concorde, due to the time zones crossed, you can arrive 2 hours before you leave. That's pretty funny. Dentists have recommended that a toothbrush be kept at least 6 feet away from a toilet to avoid airborne particles resulting from the flush. Ew. 6 feet. I have a really small bathroom, and I don't think my toothbrush is 6 feet from the toilet. That's gross. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching TV. Why? Why would they say that? Like, seriously. When I'm watching TV, I'm awake. My brain is active. I might be moving around a little bit. When I'm asleep, I'm just laying there. I don't know. A lion's roar can be heard from 5 miles away. Wow. The citrus soda 7-Up was created in 19 In ancient Rome, it was considered a sign of leadership to be born with a crooked nose. The word nerd was first coined by Dr. Seuss in If I Ran the Zoo. Seriously. So he made up the word. Interesting. A 41 gun salute is the traditional salute to a royal birth in Great Britain. Okay. The bagpipe was originally made from the whole skin of a dead sheep. Okay. The roar that we hear when we place a seashell next to our ear is not the ocean, but rather the sound of blood surging through the veins in the ear. Isn't that nice? Any cup-shaped object placed over the ear produces the same effect. Alright. Revolvers cannot be silenced because of all the noisy gases which escape the cylinder gap at the rear of the barrel. Liberace Museum has a mirror-plated Rolls-Royce, jewel-encrusted capes, and the largest rhinestone in the world, weighing 59 pounds and almost a foot in diameter. Has anyone ever been there? I don't even know where it is. Seems like it would be in Las Vegas, but I don't know. A car that shifts manually gets 2 miles more per gallon of gas than a car with automatic shift. Cats can hear ultrasound. Oh boy. Dueling is legal in Paraguay as long as both parties are registered blood donors. Why? And what are like the rules of dueling? Are you allowed to stab the person? Like, what's the deal? The highest point in Pennsylvania is lower than the lowest point in Colorado. I didn't know that. The United States has never lost a war in which mules were used. So, have we used mules in many wars or not? That is the question. Children grow faster in the springtime. On average, there are 178 sesame seeds on each McDonald's Big Mac bun. Wow. I gotta count it next time, but actually, I don't get Big Macs, I get Quarter Pounders. There should be more seeds on a Quarter Pounder because it is, bigger. It's a bigger circle, Paul Revere rode on a horse that belonged to Deacon Larkin. Oh, that clears that up. The Baby Ruth candy bar was actually named after Grover Cleveland's baby daughter, Ruth. Most of us thought it was named after Babe Ruth, myself included. Minus 40 degrees Celsius is exactly the same as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That is strange. Clans of long ago that wanted to get rid of unwanted people without killing them used to burn their houses down, hence the expression, to get fired. Nobody knows who built the You found